Scumbags, welcome back. Week one is under our belts. Duke wins a thriller in Durham over the mighty Elon Phoenix. It was a close game until halfway through the second half. Wasn't exactly what we were hoping or expecting for, but the final score was pretty respectable, all things considered. Coming off a strong performance from our quarterback, Darian Mensah. And we'll be digging into an Elon recap today and a preview of the Illinois game this weekend. Gentlemen, let's get your guys' opening thoughts before we jump right in here.
Well, you know, scoreboard looks one way, all aspects of the game look the other. First half, Duke went in tied 10-10. Um, I would be thrilled if that was the case this week, but I can tell you what, I was not thrilled last week when that happened. It was yet again another halftime where we all looked at each other and had to have a pretty stern conversation about the trajectory of where we were heading this season.
Hey
Hey
guys,
guys,
Hey
what
guys,
if?
what
what
if?
if? And we're not being negative. We're just calling it how it is. None of this is negative. We're just calling it how it is. For me, I don't care that Elon had a new staff. I don't care that the playbook was new. I don't care that the quarterback was good. I don't care if three of their offensive linemen are FBS caliber players. That's all fine and dandy because Duke's got 100 guys on their team that are all better than everybody on Elon's team. And we got punked for 3 quarters by the Fighting Phoenix. We couldn't read an option. We couldn't tackle. We couldn't cover. I mean, we bid on everything. It was just disrespectful football for 3 quarters. Fourth quarter was really good. This is all defensively for me. Offensively, we'll get into that a little more later, but defensively, there's just some glaring issues that need to be touched on. Tackling, pursuit to the ball, coverage, a lot of things like that. Just schematically, we were getting outplayed by the Elon Fighting Phoenix.
Yeah, one thing I want to touch on real quick that Noah was talking about. The whole they've got some FBS offensive linemen. All we heard, and this isn't to discredit Coach Diaz or Coach Feely or anything like that. All we heard was this was the biggest, fastest, strongest Duke team we've seen. You don't let an FCS team do that to you.
No.
And it's not like we were playing North Dakota State.
Mm-mm. We were
We were
not
playing
playing the
Elon.
peak. They went 6-6
Yeah.
last year. Elon did.
So I mean that leaves a lot to be desired. Actually, I know we got a question about this later. I will issue a formal apology halfway. Jonathan Brewer, we might have been wrong.
We might have been wrong.
We might
You
have.
can't scheme. You can't scheme a run game if your life depended on it. Still, so there's still that to work on. And I know we'll touch on some of that later, but there's I see the vision.
He was in his
I'll
bag in the pass plays.
I'll
Yeah,
give him that.
he was slow stroking the passing game for sure. But and I will say I know that also if for any of you guys who are on the 247 message boards, you might have seen last week some folks were complaining about the Scums being too negative, and they might have a point to make there. However, at least for
Hashtag
today,
hate Section 17.
yeah, people think that us and Section 17 hate each other. We don't. We're all very
Josh
good
Cox is a
friends.
fraud.
Yeah, we all like each other a lot. We get along great. It's just you can pull the whole negative card and like, are we being negative right now? Yeah, but we're about to get into like some of the positives and the things that kind of bring
Well,
us
and it's
slightly off the ledge here.
For fuck's sakes, we had Elon in a one-score ball game in the fourth quarter, guys.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
no, that's my whole principle is that we are positive fans and we would die for this shit, but also we're gonna call it exactly how we see it. And being in a one-score game with Elon with 15 minutes ago just will not fly with me. I don't care if Michael Vick is the quarterback for Elon. I do not care if Tom Brady himself is back there. I do not care if Bill Parcells is the coach of that football team. We should not be in competitive games with Elon late. We are
yeah,
not
up
going back to
24-10
the
going
days
to
of
the
Richmond.
fourth. Oof.
Richmond, those days are no more. We got to get past that. And we are. And I'm not trying to just harp and say we're going back to the past. There's a lot of positives offensively that came from this game that will lead us to believe that the defense can come around as well based off last year. But off of one game and the tape that we've seen, There's a lot of improvements that have to be made for us to be successful against competitive football teams, which is what we all want to see. So it's not negativity, just us calling it how we see it. We're not bashing. We want the best. We expect the best, and that's just how the Scums do things.
It's just a little bit
And
disappointing, is all.
100%,
well,
and
and
it's
that's the thing.
fair.
You know, I said on my account after the game, if you would have told me that we won 45-17, I feel like we all would have been like, okay,
So
that
hell
like
yeah, of
that's what
course.
we expected.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually watched the game, it was not 45-17 until that queso punt return. Elon was in the ball game.
Yeah.
Like they were right there with us the whole time. We could not pull away. And then
Offensively,
we pulled away because they had a turnover on downs on like the 30-yard line, and we go score off of like 2 plays there. So I mean, it was
yeah, and it's like we will always give Duke flowers where they're due. Offensively, Tyler already touched on Brewer, and we're going to talk about it more in the mailbag. But Mensa, phenomenal. 7 incompletions off of like 30 some attempts, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns. Beautiful football game. Receiving core looked pretty good. I will say, Elon, I don't think they're a great football team, but they were playing a lot of zone coverage, which you don't have to be a phenomenal corner to make some plays in zone coverage. Our receivers were doing very well, finding soft spots, sitting down, making catches, not a lot of drops. There were a lot of positives that we didn't see a lot last year. And that 45 points, you know, the 10 points in the first half, I'm not going to blame that on Brewer or on Mensa. There was a drop touchdown pass, a missed field goal. Duke should have been up 20-10, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. We don't play that. We don't play that here. So, offensively, things were rolling. Defensively, we got to shore up a lot of things. And, that's fine. Manny, that's his thing. That's Packy's thing. We're confident those guys can do something like that.
yeah. I mean, and before I know we're kind of just diving into some of the numbers here on Elon and stuff. I know Eli. We were talking about the whole thing that some people said on the message boards. The big thing was because we made fun of the crowd. Just saying, where were they?
It's like we don't say
15.
things that aren't based in like reality or experience. If we're saying Duke's gonna have a bad crowd, that's off the backs of like 20 plus years of experience of seeing it and being a part of it with our own eyes.
Mm.
But I will say, speaking of the crowd, shout out the students. It felt like the
Yeah.
entire student body was there.
100%. Even
Like,
like
I mean,
grad
they were
students
like
had to be.
overflowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like props to them. So
When
like
that
Probably the biggest
section,
student section I've seen at a Duke football game since maybe Notre Dame.
stands like Carolina Notre Dame games.
hmm
Yeah.
I mean, they were overflowing behind the band into that third section, all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And there were students like sitting on the home side, that had made their way around to where our section of GA was that just didn't have room over there. That's always good to see.
Yeah. I agree. No, the students, that's a very positive sign. There's that video that Barstool Blue Devils posted of like Manny running around like the front where the handicap seats are, like high-fiving students. That's what a guy who's like who cares about the program does. And that's the kind of stuff that you have to see from your coach to connect with the students. So Manny's doing the right things and we're seeing it in the student section. So shout out to students, shout out to Manny. Um, please do it again for Illinois. Please do it again for Illinois. We need that so bad. But getting more into the numbers, like we said, final score 45-17 looked great. However, not as like you want to high five and hoo-ha about it, but you're kind of wary of giving out the high fives when you realize that it was only 24-17 earlier in the fourth quarter. And then a few touchdowns kind of helped put it away towards the end there, but it wasn't looking too good for a while. Duke had 548 total yards of offense, 389 yards passing, 159 rushing, only one turnover, um, 5 for 9 on third down. So honestly, I think everything looked better than it did last year in the Elon game, and everything looked better than it did overall last year. The passing
On that
game
side of the ball.
on that side of the ball, which if there was a side of the ball that needed to get better, it was the offensive side,
Oh
obviously.
yeah.
Uh, the passing game looked better than I think it did at any point last season, honestly. I can't remember the last time we had 159 yards rushing in a game, except maybe the Carolina game. Uh, only one turnover. That's great. 5 for 9 on third downs after being like a historically bad or a very, very bad on third downs all last year.
3rd and 6, baby, right where we want them.
Right
Yeah.
where we
And
want to be. It's
again,
right in front of us.
we're not idiots. It's Elon. It's different. Like any FBS team can like, have these numbers against Elon, but the fact that we didn't have this against Elon last year kind of to me shows growth and is a positive sign. I want to get your all thoughts on that.
Yeah, the numbers side of the game, like box score on offense, is a positive takeaway. Um, the all facets of the game, the offense was better this year. Run blocking, pass blocking, route running. Run game still has a lot to be desired. A couple of those were just shitty tackling from Elon, and we broke loose and got a lot of yards. I'm not going to complain because we said last week 150 was the minimum. 150 was the minimum. We have set that goal. We will set another goal for Illinois later in this episode, but goal one met on fixing the running game. So I'm cool.
And touching on the running game, if you guys are cool with this, let's look at some of this. Several guys had decent games. They really spread the ball around in the running game and the passing game.
The
Jo-
stable is back.
yeah, Jacquez Moore, 7 carries for 44 yards. That's 6.3 yards a carry for a TD. Peyton Jones, 6 carries for 28 yards, 4.7 yards a carry with a touchdown. Nate Shepard, the true freshman, making an impact, 5 carries
Running
for
back
28
one.
yards. Yeah, RB1 possibly.
Should be.
Last but not least, Noah's going to want to cover his ears for this one.
Uh,
Anderson Castle, 3 carries for 69 yards, averaging 23 yards a carry. Obviously, that's skewed by that one long breakaway TD he had, where he ultimately got ran down
I
because
was about to say was not a
he's
touchdown.
more of a short yardage guy, more of a power guy than a speed guy. But that was pretty exciting to watch. That gives me some excitement. But yeah, really spreading the ball around in the run game. That was really good to see.
I do want to say one thing I'm still concerned with about the running game is if you take away the Castle run and Quez's touchdown, minus those 2 runs, we probably had what, right at 100 yards? Sans
Yeah,
100 yards still. Like, we weren't consistently running the
getting
ball
five on the
effectively.
ground.
We had those 2 great runs, like phenomenal runs. Quez's was insane. He broke like 8 tackles to get, broke 8 tackles going left, cut back right, got the touchdown. Like,
Reminds me of
minus those
that
two
UVA run in
runs,
2023 that he had.
we still could not like move the ball
Yeah.
at will on the ground against Elon.
Yeah, if those two
Yeah,
guys didn't have those 2 long runs, their stats would have looked a lot closer to Peyton Jones and Nate Shepard with like 28 yards.
but that's still the same principle as if you scored more points, you'd win the ball
Yeah,
game.
it's like we
All
could
all
we could
players
we
are
could
good
split
players.
hairs all day.
I'm not gonna sit here
Oh
and
yeah,
fucking gripe on that. Just like I mean, it's the same way with the receivers. You know what I mean? Like Cooper Barkay had a couple of extra, Elon whoopee tacklers that he broke that he got 117 yards on. I don't give a shit. 117 yards, 5 catches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm never going to
VJ,
complain about
the
117
defense,
receiving
all these
yards.
guys that had good numbers for us. I'm not going to complain and split hairs and try to figure out why they got those numbers. I'm just going to be glad they did. It's the
Well,
same reason as like VJ, Trey, all these guys on defense. They're flying around. They're making plays. Really good to see Trey flying around. I think they figured out last season having him be the guy that was almost taken out of the game was not the way to go about it. He's a gamer and needs to be full
he
fledged
he
in the
is
game plan
off the milk carton.
as the man.
he
Yeah,
built
yeah.
he
Trey
beat the
Trey
milk carton
Freeman is
allegations.
back in school. They found him. They took him off the milk carton. Milk carton will have another face on it soon, I'm sure.
They
So
took him
stay
off
It's
that
Bryce Davis.
they took him off that
scout team
tack
tight
board they
end.
have outside the bathroom at Walmart where it's like, "Have you seen this child?" And
Yeah,
it says like last seen in 1996 and you're just like, "What am I supposed to do with this information?"
last seen
He
in Durham.
Yeah, he made it off the tack board. But let's get into that receiving game really quick. I mean, guys that we wanted and hoped to make an impact did. First and foremost, Cooper Barkade looked like every bit of what we had hoped he could be and what we heard throughout camp this year. 5 receptions, 117 yards, average 23 yards of reception with a long of 46. Quayshawn Brown, 6 catches, 93 yards, average over 15 yards a catch. Samir Hagans, our guy who I own a lot of stock in. Samir Hagans, 5 catches, 54 yards, 2 TDs. Angelo Anthony, Jaden Moore had a few catches. Nate Shepard had a few catches out of the backfield, or one for 20 yards. I mean, if we can spread the ball around to multiple receivers and out of the backfield and to multiple tight ends and Mensa can move around, that's really going to open things up in the offense.
That's one thing I want to see
Here's
more in the
us being
passing
positive,
game.
by the way. For those of you who think we're always negative, listen to the last 5 minutes here. We're being positive right now. Please
Yeah,
Nobody
I'm getting ready
listens
to.
to
take
it.
I'm
note.
get.
Nobody
I'm getting
listens
ready
to
to
this
change that.
shit. Nobody makes it this far in the pod. You know what I mean?
Tyler's like,
I'm
not
getting.
so fast, my friend.
We'd
Yeah,
have to we'd have to spend 30 seconds on each, like just Elon, then 30 seconds on Illinois.
and this isn't really me being negative. It's just more of like I want to see it. Hazley and Landon King each got one catch. That's all the tight end room saw.
Yeah, they just had
Like
Jake Taylor out there doing calisthenics.
to for and everyone kept talking about Brewer and his tight ends, Brewer and his tight ends, Brewer and his tight ends. We've got two of the better ones I've seen. Going forward, I hope we use them more. Like, and that's not like a complainer. That's just like
Well,
we've
that's
got
that's
them.
just so Duke. That's just so
Yeah,
Duke. But that's not even the that's so Duke moment of the game, though.
No, no.
You would think
no,
it
no.
is because that is so
There were
Duke.
a
But
lot of these actually.
we've got one.
It
We've
was a
got
night
one
full
that
of these
stands
moments.
out
You guys
above
love
the
the That's
rest.
So Duke segment? We got a bunch for you. We'll be
Oh
right
yeah.
back after this quick message.
Da-da-da. That's so Duke moment. Boys, let's just get into it. Fuck Elon. I'm tired of talking about Elon. That
Yeah,
it
we
does
can
nothing
skip
but
all
piss.
that.
It does nothing
Yeah.
but piss me
Enough of
off,
that.
man.
Yeah.
God, we just shouldn't have been a game. We played the fight song after missing a field goal. Duke,
Not only did we miss a field goal, but we played the fight song after missing the field goal. Hey, you know what though? You know what though? On the band, they're good in my book
Flowers.
because you know why? You know what they didn't do this week for the first time? I don't know how many years. They did not play the Elon Phoenix fight song before the game. Jesus Christ, if you're real, thank you for answering my prayers. Finally.
I mean,
I'm going to hold out my concern on that till week 2. Let's get through Illinois,
Yeah.
and then
they're gonna
Once is
come
a
out there.
fluke, twice is intentional, three times is a streak.
we're going to come out in orange for Illinois just
They're
to
gonna
make
come
up
out
for.
next week and start with the Elon song and be like, "We forgot to do
Yeah,
this
we
last
forgot this
week."
last week.
And for our good friends down the road, the Elon fighting Phoenix. I just dun, dun, dun. Ah,
But yeah,
just
But yeah,
agitating.
but
But
that's
on
why
the
this is
band's
that's
part,
so.
good
Yeah,
job.
that's why this is the that's so Duke moment because the band got us excited. It's like, oh, this is new, and then we miss our first drive of the season. We miss a field goal, and they go right to playing the blue and white.
yep.
It's just right on cue.
You can't even make it up, man. Like even the NCAA video game doesn't screw up that bad. Like,
Well,
come on.
here's another That's So Duke thing you can see on me and Tyler's screens. Doesn't have to do anything that happened against Elon.
Man,
Oh God.
Duke.
Oh
Moment of
God.
silence for the and I'm not like I know we like love to joke around and be funny and exaggerate on the show, but like genuinely, Trip Durham was the voice of our childhoods. I'm not even kidding. He was the Duke PA guy at Wallace Wade since like 2010, since we were all kids. And one of the best things about hearing his voices or those games was his voice. His voice is so unique, so special, like so professional. He had that great thing where the chains will move where it is first down.
The ball is
Dude.
spotted at the 35-yard line. Where it is
Yeah.
first down.
Yeah. And it's
Oh
just
God.
it sucks. Anyone who was there at the game Thursday noticed real quick that it wasn't Trip, and I miss him.
Trip,
And
man,
Yeah,
if this gets to you somehow, some way,
name
what's
your
it gonna
price.
take, man? I mean, we don't know
I don't
what
think it
Duke.
was his doing. I think it was the university.
Go figure.
I
Steve
think
Hartsoe didn't die for that, man.
God. Yeah, he was another casualty for sure. But Trip, thank you for everything. You truly were the voice
And
of our childhoods.
and it's
100%.
not just like, we missed Chip. I don't want to dog on the guy too much, but that guy, like he's announcing plays like while they're happening, which I'm pretty sure you're not like allowed. Like
Allowed to do
that's
that.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that's a big no-no.
If the
Like
NCAA was keeping an eye on this game, which they probably weren't, they would have put a stop to that quickly.
Known
he
punt,
caused us to get a false start.
yeah, he calls the known punt returner VJ Anthony
Oh
returned the
my
first two
god.
punts of the game. By
Dude,
the
imagine
way,
being VJ's mom and dad, and you're just sitting there watching the game. Like, your son's off the field, and they're like, and back to return the punt, Vincent Anthony Jr. And you're like, oh, shit.
like
It's
just
like that. It reminds me of that one thing where this dude was interviewing Samuel L. Jackson. He was like, "Yeah, you were in that Super Bowl commercial," and he's like, "I wasn't in a Super Bowl commercial." And the interviewer's just like, "Oh," it's like that. It's like, "Oh,"
and even like he tried to do the first down Duke thing, but it just
it's
was
just very
not the.
rushed and very dick.
Yeah,
It's
it
like they
was
didn't
not.
even like
It was
do
not the same.
practice runs with him. Like they should
Yeah,
have
it's
let
like
him
they just.
practice.
It's like they just grabbed some guy from the stands. Like, hey, do you know how to talk? Yeah, come on.
I hope he
You ever
wasn't
seen a
nervous because
microphone
that was
before?
only
Yeah.
15,000 people. We'll get up to 18 this weekend.
Um.
He thinks 15's crazy. Wait till he sees 22 and a half at Wallace.
Well, anyway, moving on from that. So Duke, mailbag time. Sticking to
We got some
mailbag.
we got some good ones.
Shout out everyone who left a question for us this week. We actually got a decent sized one, especially considering we put it up like 14 hours ago.
There's one on Instagram too.
Is it really?
Yeah, we got a response on our IG.
Wow, that's new. All right. Well, let's get going here. Our friend Bentley Weeks asks, "What does Tyler get for guessing the karaoke song for week one correctly?" I thought about that. It was Party in the USA, right?
Sure
Mm-hmm.
was. I already have my prediction for this week. This week's gonna be living on a prayer.
Yup.
Yeah,
This
I'm
week's
on
living on a
that.
prayer.
Or Don't Stop Believing. What are the odds it could be Don't Stop Believing?
It could be one of those two. I'm gonna stick with living on a prayer, hoping for Toto.
They're
Yeah.
not gonna go Toto, I think, until NC State. Think you hold off on Toto till a night game.
Yeah.
And Lane Phipps says, "Any inside info on the PA guy? What happened to the old guy? And why is this new guy's sense of awareness comparable to a potato? Very frustrating that he single-handedly caused a false start and he kept announcing first down right as Duke is about to snap the ball all night long."
Dude, shout
Yeah,
out
that
Lane
was
because
an issue. Lane came in swinging.
he's
Yeah.
spitting right now.
From
Like
the top rope.
everything he just said was fact.
Yeah, it was
We sadly have
it was
no
tough.
info other than what we just said
Yeah, we
earlier.
can't.
Like,
Yeah.
We heard that Triv was just let go as part of budget cuts. That's all we know. So hate to
yeah,
hear that. Hopefully this guy picks it up. I mean, it's Elon. It was a Thursday night. If there was a game to be shitty and like get the wrinkles out, it's Elon. Just don't make it a habit of it, please. Our friend Crazy Talk, who came and sat with us. Thanks for coming out and sitting down with us, guys. Thanks for the beer. That was delicious. After Elon, what's our read on Todd, aka Will Friday? How much or how little should we trust our veteran kicker?
I must say, when I read Will Friday earlier, I went and
That was
texted
pretty
Tyler and
funny.
Eli, and I was laughing
That
hard.
rocked. Great
Um,
reference.
That is so Duke Cutcliffe niche coded. I love it.
Because
But
Crazy Talk, as basketball forward as he is, he went to Duke and he informed us on Thursday that he tutored Jamison Crowder.
mhm.
How wild is that? Tyler, your mic
Tyler, your
is
mic. Yeah, it's fucked.
that's better.
There you go. No, it's
Um,
muted now.
so I don't know. It's the
I'm
miss.
confident enough.
How far out was that kick from that he missed?
42, right? Maybe 38, somewhere in there.
It was inside of 45. It was makeable.
Okay. Yeah, I'll chalk that up to Elon nerves. But
We're
yeah,
so
just
doomed.
something I don't want to see become a habit throughout the season, that's for sure.
Hey, Curtis Cooper was throwing dimes back there, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't all big Coop.
Our friend Sam at Bleeding Duke Blue asks, "I'm sure y'all will touch on this naturally, but I'd like to hear each of your thoughts on the play calling, the total called run and pass plays, situational play calling, and style of plays. While there's a very small sample size, did the feeling towards Brewer change at any based on the play calls?"
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we kind of touched on that. Like I said,
He has our attention, that's for
yeah,
sure.
Mhm. I am
we're
sad.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gone from let me at him to we can walk by each other now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still not saying hey, but acknowledging
Yeah.
existence now for
I'll
sure.
get- I'll give
Maybe
him a
a
little-
slight
Yeah,
Little hat tap. One thing
yeah.
though, to touch on the situational part of the play calling, Brewer did a lot better job. I felt like in third and short, second and mediums, like setting
No,
himself up to get
no
first
40-yard
downs.
out routes.
It's like if it's second and six and you want to try and take a deep shot, that's fine, but have a really good third down play call behind it. And I felt like he really did a good job of that. So, like we were just saying, I'm at attention.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm willing to eat all the words that we had last year about Brewer just yet, but it it was pleasantly surprising. The offense wasn't pissing me off, at least in the second half. It was a little bit in the first.
Mhm.
I wasn't thrilled about anything in the first half. Um, but yeah. Um, our friend Dalton Spurlock asks, the run game still seems rocky to start the year. Yes, it does. However, the checkdowns to various backs seem to have worked well. In your opinion, does the staff consider those runs in their mind? And if so, do you think we will see that more often than typical run plays?
I could see that with how Brewers system. I mean, we keep talking about the running game. It is technically an air raid system, like so. It's predominantly going to be pass centric and stuff, but it would just be nicer to see on traditional run plays us be able to move the ball more effectively. But I mean, I think that's going to be a lot of the run game this year. Is like like we hit. I think it was Shepard one time on that little like swing pass, and he took off with it. Um, so we might see a lot of Cut used to do that back in the day. If there's one thing Cut's OCs loved, it was a damn swing pass. So we could see the return of those again, some more screens and stuff. And if that's the case, fine. Our running backs are playmakers. Just get them the ball.
Yeah.
Nate Shepard showed that on his first pass catch of
Yeah,
the year. Ooh.
I mean, that's just such a, it's almost like a cheat code workaround. They're like, well, if our blockers can't create room, skip the blockers entirely and just get him a swing pass out wide. Just go around the blockers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Time will tell in the run game, but when our guys aren't moving, the front a whole lot against Elon, that's troubling for sure,
especially next week.
especially next week. Our friend Timothy O. Gonzalez says we need our Duke fans to show up this Saturday against Illinois.
I
Couldn't
have
have said
bad
it better
news.
myself, Tim. You know what I
Yep.
mean? He also has another comment/question. Scums, what was the best game of week one of college football? Is there a way to tell the DJ to play some cumbia so Garrett can dance during the timeout break? And have y'all seen a Wildcat with pants on? So it's a lot of moving parts in that question.
I'm gonna go best game I think that I watched. Clemson
That
LSU.
was a good game.
It was just OSU and Texas wasn't bad, and I know those scores are like comparable, but the Clemson LSU game felt a little bit cleaner, so I'm gonna go with that
More of
one.
like a chess match almost. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
lower scoring, but it was very evenly matched. Like,
Texas and Ohio State was just two idiots throwing rocks at each other for
Yeah,
40
it was
minutes. Like, I
just.
mean, that's all it was.
yeah, exactly.
Still fun to watch, though.
I'm
Um,
gonna I'm gonna go to Friday night to Boulder, Colorado, and I'll take Georgia Tech in Colorado.
It was a good
That
game.
was a that was a solid Friday night game.
I think Colorado's better this year than they have been the last 2 years with Salter at quarterback. They looked
Yeah,
way
honestly,
better.
that
The
fucker can sling it, dude.
and
He
his
made a few throws that I was like,
and like their offensive line is no longer getting like bullied. It seems like they've got some real corn fed Big 12 guys playing O line now. I think Dion's got it rolling. Like I'm excited for Colorado. I think they can win 8 or 9
I'm
games.
I'm I'm gonna say it after watching that game. I'm doubling down on my Georgia Tech stock.
Mm-hmm.
Like
find more of it.
minus those three, just awful random turnovers. 'Cause that center was snapping them to fucking Jesus,
To
as Noah
God.
says back there. Like those snaps were awful, but like Haynes King is still Haynes King. Jamal Haynes is Jamal Haynes. Yeah, that running game is going to be a problem.
Uh, yeah, as far as games that I enjoyed watching, I'll tell you what game was not good. Wake versus
Duke
Kennesaw
Elon,
State. Yeah, Duke
Ooh,
Elon.
Wake Kennesaw was
You want to talk
bad.
about two idiots throwing rocks at each other?
That was it. That
they
was
weren't
the
even hitting each
peak.
other. They weren't even hitting each other with the rocks.
I wasn't even like I wouldn't say I was rooting for Wake Forest because I don't love rooting for conference opponents, especially rivals in state. but it was a non-con game, so like the outcome of that game has no bearing on like the ACC. But for the ACC's sake, I was still like, damn, like, come
We
on,
got it.
Wake, please.
We can't lose this.
Roll
We can't
Deeks,
lose to
please.
Kennesaw State.
Uh, our friend Garrett at Blue Devil underscore 316 says, I know there were a few, but in y'all's opinion, what's the biggest area of concern following the Elon scare? Going back to
Yep.
Elon for a second.
Yeah.
Defense for me. I mean, just all outside of the defensive line.
Yeah, tackling was a big issue, at least in the first half. Tackling was an issue. The run game was a little troubling. I'll tell you what's not a worry of mine: the passing game and the receiving game. Not worries of mine whatsoever. I actually feel better after this week in the with those two things than I did before.
And shout
I
out
think
the O
you're.
line again. Pass blocking has only improved
Yeah.
after being great last year. So
I think you're both wrong. It's special teams.
yeah,
Like
that's
Oh
a
God.
real
Jesus
valid concern.
Christ.
Holly's about to
Tyler,
lose
I
it.
think special teams was very, very, very similar to the offensive and defensive issues where like one kind of
No, they just
fluky punt,
suck.
no, one fluky
Oh,
touchdown return kind of covered up, like pulled everyone's attention away from how bad the rest of it was. Like that one touchdown was like, hey, like we got a punt return touchdown. It's like, well, we can't forget like special teams still looked really bad outside of that.
like
It's
Torres
Todd.
yeah.
Jones,
Todd missed
man.
a field goal. Elon's returning. Elon had a great punt return and a great kick return. And the punt return should not have happened. Like
The
our
queso
punt return
one.
for a touchdown, yeah, there was an egregious block in the back that they just did not flag on that play.
Yeah, it was
Duke stays
bad.
getting the calls.
Yeah. They didn't want little old
but
Elon to stand a chance.
but
Coach
like
K
our
paid off the
special
rest before the game.
teams, watching the games I watched this week, especially with what we have coming up, like Tulane looks the part.
Oh
Illinois
God, let's get into
looks
that
the
real
part.
quick.
Like if we don't play ball these next 2 weeks,
We have a
both of
question about
them.
that coming up.
Okay, then I'll wait.
Oh, Will Kuntis was in his bag. Don't worry, boys. Will saw what we saw yesterday.
Did Will say
Yeah,
this in the comments on Twitter? I don't see
It's on
it.
the quote tweet on Twitter I put out this morning for
Okay, cool.
the last call. Yeah, he had a banger about this, and I'm like, man,
because
it's the same thought process I think all of us had yesterday, except Jarrett.
Well, we'll get to that last then. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I can pull up
Uh,
the Instagram one if you need to while you're hitting
yeah,
these.
Bruce K, who shout out Bruce, he
shout out. Yeah,
gave Noah a ride from Charlotte to Durham this weekend, and we all got to meet him for the first time. Cool guy.
shout out Scumgate.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
the first
absolutely.
Scumgate was a success. Like a lot of ants though. I think I'm gonna bring some raid out with us this weekend and just spray down our whole area before putting anything down.
Mhm.
But Bruce says, first, what about Illinois should scare us the most? We'll get into that. Second, if the team rushes for 1,000 yards this season, but Mensa passes for 4,800 yards, would you be team fire Brewer or team keep Brewer? Uh, Finally, if you had to compare our special teams to a drug, what drug and why? Okay, for the offensive thing, I would be team keep Brewer. If we could throw for 5,000 passing yards, I don't
Yeah.
give a shit if he run for 300
Yeah, I
yards on the
mean,
season. Keep
Mm-hmm.
Brewer.
For real.
Uh, a drug.
Meth, just like really
Yeah,
bad
but at least
thing.
yeah,
meth is like fun, like for a little bit. Like it makes you feel good. But I don't know.
yeah. I
Black
mean, I'm
tar
with you on
heroin.
that.
I mean, just anything that could ruin your life, like drastically put you under a bridge with
Heroin puts you to sleep,
bugs
kills
under your
you.
skin, like that's the Duke special teams.
Bugs under your skin. Um, I think that's all of them from, and I'll get to Will's quote tweet question.
Willie
I
K.
I got Chandler Carrick here from Instagram, I believe a new follower. So thanks for the question, Chandler. Run defense was quite disappointing this week. Agreed. Is there anything we can do to manage Illinois' ground game? And I like how he said manage and not stop.
That's a good word to use.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're getting ready to get on the Illinois preview, so we'll touch on that in just a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's
Shoring up tackling is
he
the first thing that comes to mind.
he worded that right, like manage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then our friend Will Kuntis, Wet Willie says Tulane scoring points on Northwestern, who we are very familiar with, and Illinois hanging 50 on someone. Where do the easy games go? Damn right, Will. What happened to
Uh,
the easy non-conference games?
Cal beat the piss out of Oregon
Yeah,
State.
Did they?
UVA beat the dog shit out of Coastal Carolina, and Coastal starting quarterbacks MJ Morris, who was at NC State,
Is
and
the
they,
the
ACC
good
back?
I mean,
the good
he
news
was,
is Syracuse looks like dog shit.
yeah, that's our freebie this year. Syracuse and Wake.
Yeah, we'll see about UNC. Clemson's going to be tough. Like they lost to LSU and the offense looked bad. That defense is still insane.
Yeah,
Who else are we missing?
State's not good. I
I
will.
didn't see I didn't see UConn's game. I saw them beat the shit out of Central Connecticut, so I can't weigh too much on that. But
It
I'll
was
know more about
7 and
them in a week or two. They play Syracuse this week, so this week will
mhm,
tell us a lot about
where
them.
UConn is.
It's just I was so before the season I was calling 10-2 best case with losses to like Clemson and maybe like Georgia Tech. Best case. And then worst case was 7-5. After seeing how much Duke struggled early on against Elon this weekend and how good Tulane, Illinois, Cal, who else? Who else looked really good?
Georgia
UVA,
Tech,
Georgia
UVA,
Tech.
GT Tech.
everyone
I
except Wake, pretty
I
much.
don't want to say we're
Yeah.
probably going to end up being closer to 7-5, but I'm afraid that 7-5 is starting to look a little bit more realistic and not just absolute worst case.
And I mean like
Don't want that to be the case. I
pe-
hate to be
people
negative.
can people can regress, get better like just taking it off of like
Yeah, and
what
it
we
is
saw
just
from
week
week
one. We don't
one.
know.
Yeah, but taking it off from week one, the schedule
Yeah,
we
these
already thought was solid. It looks a whole lot tougher.
yeah, people can always say like some of your takes are just crazy and stuff like that. Like we're going off what y'all give us. You know what I mean? We can't what if it till we die. That's not what we do. We go based off what we see. We sprinkle in
But
some what
and
ifs.
I will say I still don't think Cal's very good as a whole, but that quarterback,
Is nasty.
whew,
Believer.
yeah,
Is it
you
the
don't.
same guy as last year?
No, he's a true
No, it's the
freshman.
he was a 5-star freshman coming in, and they
Islander.
stole him. They stole him from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, dude's a dog.
Little
So
Hawaiian kid.
I guess that concludes mailbag. So we're gonna dive into random Duke player. It's a segment we started last week, just choosing the most random, obscure, off the wall Duke player that you can possibly think of throughout history, whether it was Tin Can Oil Man Jones from the 40s or Hud Mellencamp from 8 years ago. It's and anywhere in between. This guy is kind of special to me. So y'all mind if I take this one?
Oh, this is
Yeah,
all
I was going to
you.
say this is you.
This was
Yeah.
always going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who I'm a diehard Duke football fan, and I didn't know this till about a year ago. I'm a diehard 49ers fan, and this, when I learned about it, was so exciting and so funny to me. And I'm gonna try to get the one picture in existence up on the screen here when we get this posted. None other than Kyle Shanahan, head football coach of the San Francisco 49ers, uh, offensive-minded guru, football royalty, played one season at Duke as a wide receiver. I don't have it off the top of my head, and I believe it was 1997 or 8, one of those two. He had like one reception, and that's it. And there's one picture in existence online, one. And it's so crazy. And sure enough, when I learned about this, I had to go back and look it up because I actually have a program, like a team program from that year. And there's Kyle Shanahan in there with a little bio written about him. Really insane stuff. But yeah, Kyle Shanahan, he was here for one season before redshirting and going to Texas, where people know him more as a receiver at Texas than Duke, obviously. Walked on for 4 years. Current head coach of the 49ers, longtime OC, regarded as one of the better offensive minds. Let's not forget his dad is a legend in his own right, Mike Shanahan, Super Bowl champion with the Broncos. Um, yeah,
Just so cool. Like, I
Kyle
mean,
Shanahan.
when we were talking about it earlier, like we were just kind of, you know, you just even when you remember it, you still forget it was true. You're just like it's so obscure because like nobody talks about it. That's like so you don't hear any Duke fans say like, "Yeah, you guys remember Kyle Shanahan here back in '98?" It's like what? Like, come on, share the lore.
That's insane. That's so wild. It's funny. There's a Hap Zarzor, legendary like Duke football royalty, who was like a trainer for the football team for years. Was talking to his son recently, who works for the program, about that because he grew up around the program, and he was like, "Yeah, Kyle left Duke because we didn't have his major." And I was like, "Well, what was his major?" And he said football, and I was like, "I get it." But yeah, Kyle Shanahan, Duke legend, Duke football legend, Kyle Shanahan. How about that?
So in the first 2 weeks of this new segment, Hud Mellencamp and Kyle Shanahan, like, come on, we
I
got a
mean,
meat bag,
the
man.
son of music legend, and then the son of a football legend who's also pretty well regarded in his own right.
Uh huh.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right, boys, I'll let you take the best bet segment here.
Hey, we're on fire right now. I'll let Tyler start it off, but like, hey,
We were
we're
we
making
were
some money.
2-1 in week 1 or week 0. Last what did we go last week? 4-2.
4-2. Baylor lost, and
Baylor lost, and then I lost Toledo by half a point.
mhm.
So,
But
guys,
hey,
we're
Bobby
yeah,
ODU.
let him have him. Yeah, ODU
Yeah,
to cover.
yeah. Well, last week, as many of you know, our good buddy Bobby Boom on Twitter, big Duke fan, also an IU guy, went to IU, but he literally laughed and like made fun of me for picking IU 20 to not cover 22 and a half. And I just want to say, how about the Monarchs, baby? How about them?
Yeah. After last week, and this is going to kind of like I'm giving away partially my prediction for the upcoming game Saturday, but Illinois opened at 3.5. It's already down to 2.5. I'm taking Illinois minus 2.5 against Duke. I won't like. I'm not going to get into it too much, but when we get to our game preview, I will. After watching Auburn just, I mean, dominate Baylor on the lines of scrimmage, I was shocked at that. I'm going to take SMU minus 3 when Baylor rolls in there this weekend. And last but not least, I forget what they call this rivalry, but Kansas goes back to Missouri, and that's a big rivalry, like big time, Midwest rivalry for those guys. Jaden Daniels is still there in Kansas,
Year 8.
year 8, and he was hurt last year, and you can already see the impact he's had back on that offense with Coach Leipold.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Jayhawks plus 6.5 at Mizzou. If you can wait and hope it gets bumped up to 7, but
take
I
it.
think I think Kansas outright. Personally, like I'm all in on the Jayhawks after 2 weeks of watching them play ball.
Yeah,
That's my
absolutely.
3.
Me and Tyler also have one in comparison to the three, and we're also adding like a new kind of bet. This is kind of in honor of Lee Corso. You know, we're gonna start doing a super dog. We're gonna call it the super scum
Rest in
bet.
rest in
Uh,
peace.
hey, Lee picked Florida State and was the only person to pick Florida State on that panel
He
his
got
last
every
show.
single one of his picks right on
Yep,
his last week.
that king went out the way he
It was
deserves. So,
scripted.
so shout out Lee for sure. Yeah, NCAA had a hand in every single game.
Jim Phillips made the call.
So my first pick is, man, I'm sold on him this year. Like, this is my Big 12 pick right now going into week 2. Iowa State Cyclones minus 2.5 against Iowa. Iowa looked like they were, throwing mud against the wall
El
against U Albany.
El Asico is back.
U Albany, shout out Mr. Tom Mulick, goat. But U Albany hung around with Iowa, so I'm not sold on the Hawkeyes at all. Give me the Clones minus 2.5. The one me and Tyler share this week, Kansas plus 6.5. If I didn't have this money line pick next, I would have made this my money line. Kansas is a good football team.
Yeah.
They have finally, the past few years they really had the ball rolling, and now everything's kind of fitting together. So I'm high on them as well. And then my big money line upset of the week, it's like a plus 135 the last time I looked at it. Michigan and Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma's that good. Oklahoma's a 7-5, 8-4 football team. I think Michigan has got things rolling. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but I think they're a lot better at Oklahoma and will out physical Oklahoma. So those are my three. And then Super Scum bet of the week. We got JMU plus 15 and a half points. That's a lot of points over Louisville. Now, Louisville looked real good against EKU. Do not get me wrong. I'm a believer in Jeff Brom. I know Tyler is too.
Miller Moss.
But there's something about JMU versus an
They
ACC
just,
team they shouldn't beat.
ugh,
I'm
every
not
time.
claiming they go beat them, but I'm claiming JMU. If if Louisville wants to put up 35, JMU wants to put up 31. Like it got a feeling. So go Cards to win it, but JMU plus 15 and a half for the Super Scum cover of the week.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Eli,
I don't have any thoughts on this. I
Well,
agree.
it's Illinois preview time.
Illinois preview time. Tyler, you can take this one.
all right. So you're fighting Illini. Um, so they actually have only played twice ever, which I didn't even realize. But we're 1-1 against Illinois all time. We beat them 15-13 back in '58, and then we all remember the 28-14 loss in 1965.
We all
We
remember that.
all, yeah, everyone talks about Duke Illinois from '65. They are led by head coach Brett Bielema. He's in year 5 at Illinois. He's 29-22 there. He's made stops at Wisconsin. Everyone knows him back from when he was at Arkansas. He's 126-80 in his career. If there's one thing that man knows, it's offensive line play. Like that man is offensive line till he dies. Um, Last year Illinois was 10-3. They returned 15 starters from that team. Two new offensive starters. They're both wide receivers. They bring back five, or they're putting in five new starters on defense. Last year they gave up 21 points a game, scored 28 points a game. You'll notice a theme here with them as I talk about them some. They're just a solid all around team. They don't do anything flashy. You know, they run the ball a lot. It's a Big Ten team. 452 rushing attempts last year, averaging 5 yards a carry, 153 yards per game. 353 passing attempts on the season. They averaged 211 yards per game in the air. 45% third down rate last year's an offense. Only 10 turnovers. They don't turn the ball over a lot. This is something that's worth noting. Last year in the red zone, Illinois scored on 44 of their 51 red zone trips. So when they get down there, like it's almost just a foregone conclusion. Points.
That's an astonishing number.
Yeah, that's high. The defense again, like it's just gave up 149 yards rushing per game, 224 in the air. Third down defense wasn't that great for them, 44%, but they forced 20 turnovers and had 32 sacks. So like that, they're kind of defensively. It reminds us of like Coach Diaz. They're going to give up yards, but they're going to have negative plays and force turnovers when it matters. Week 1, they did beat Western Illinois 52-3. Imagine taking care of business for 4 quarters against an FCS team.
They had
Couldn't be
film.
us.
They had film.
Yeah, they
Stop
had
it.
film on the OC.
They had
Yeah.
film. Tyler, damn it.
Some guys you need to know. Quarterback Luke Altmaier. He's pretty good, folks. He's just really solid. It's 5th-year senior. He was at Ole Miss for a few years. Started last year for Illinois. In his career, he completes 62% of his passes. He's got 5,000 yards. Touchdown to interception rate of 41-19. So he does make mistakes, but he doesn't make a lot of them. He's not mobile. He's only got 486 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns in his career. But he doesn't need to be because Illinois has a two-back attack, and they are both extremely solid. They're both juniors. Um, Aiden Lowry, 125 carries, 780 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Caden Fegan has 175 carries for 818 yards and 6 touchdowns. And I mean, they are as 1-2 as it gets. Like I think last week one of them had 13 carries, the other one had 9.
Their
Like
It's
splits
very
are
like
they are.
evenly matched and
Yeah,
distributed.
their splits are unreal. Like the OC, I don't know who's in charge of rotating them, but like that game plan is strict.
yeah. Like when I say when they say two back committee, it is. Um, Wide receivers, Hank Beatty returns. He's got 40 receptions, 492 yards in his career. This is a guy that Illinois was big on. It was a big get out of the portal. Hudson Clement came out of West Virginia. In his career, he's got 74 catches for 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. He only had one reception last week, interestingly enough. Um, if I had to imagine that's the guy Rivers is going to spend majority of his time shadowing. Um, the O line, all five starters return. Um, and I mean, they're going to be big boys. Like Northwestern's O line last week was bigger than the Chicago Bears offensive line on average. So they're going to be tough to move around. Defensively, this secondary, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this will be the best secondary Duke plays all year. They returned all of their starters from last year. Junior defensive back Matthew Bailey comes back in his career. He's got 109 tackles, 7 PBUs, 4 interceptions. Um, Linebacker Gabe Jacas,
Gabe
140.
Jackass.
Shit coming
That's
out of their ass.
146 tackles, 18 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 2 PBUs. He had eight sacks alone last season. Like he's the real deal. Defensive line, not really any big name there. They're all just kind of solid. If I had to pick a point of weakness, it's probably their defensive line because I mean that back seven is just like insane. Um, Outside of Clemson, this is hands down the best defense Duke will see. Offensively, Illinois is not going to blow you away. They're not going to hang 50 on us. But
They might.
if
Just
this
kidding.
game gets the recipe for Duke to win this game in my mind is you have to keep it low scoring. Like if Illinois breaks 20, I don't know that I trust Duke against this defense to be in a spot where they have to air it out a bunch just with how good the secondary is. That's not me saying that Mensa's bad, our receivers are bad. Their secondary is that good.
God, you're so negative.
I know, I'm just the worst.
You're saying,
Um
and you think that we should probably try to shut down Illinois' run game, right?
yeah.
We should
Uh,
score more points than they do too.
yeah, like if the simple solution here is just score more points. But I mean
I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel
I
here, but what if?
yeah.
What if we score more points?
What if we
Going
stop
back
the run?
what really scares me is, I talked about special teams earlier. This very much has the feel of a game where like one or two big special teams plays decides this ball game.
100%.
And with how things go, that hasn't necessarily been a good thing for Duke lately. Um, so I'll go ahead and give my prediction real quick and who I think is MVP, and then I'll throw it to you guys for thoughts on Illinois and your predictions. I've got Illinois winning by a touchdown. I've got 28-21 bad guys. And earlier I mentioned the tight ends need to get involved. And with how good this secondary is going to be, this is going to have to be a game where if we attack them through the air, the tight ends have to be more of a factor. So I think our MVP of this game is going to be, I mean, outside of obviously I could go Mensa, but I think Hazley or King will be the MVP of this game because I think for us to have success in the air and score points, we're going to have to go through the tight ends more. So that's where I'm at. 28-21 Illinois, and I think our MVP will be either Hazley or King.
Nice. I've got a little bit of optimism, I suppose. Illinois is a great football team. Do not get it twisted, Duke fans. This is not another Northwestern coming down to play a little old Duke. We are getting a team that's going to hit hard, play hard. They're well coached, and they're well funded. Big Ten program, things are going to be well. Duke to win this game.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying speak up a little bit. Sorry.
Sorry, 9?
Yeah.
Oh. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, it's just kind of
Yeah.
quiet, that's all.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry, my headset broke before the pod, so tough break. But anyways, I definitely think Duke can win this football game, but we're gonna have to rush for at least 2 touchdowns on the ground. We're gonna have to wear their secondary out side to side. We're gonna have to wear the defensive line out and then start running up the middle. A lot of rotation needs to be a lot of screen passes to the outsides, a lot of deep threats, and then try to run outside. And then once you kind of get them tired out, start ground and pounding. And I'm with Tyler. We can only win if it's a low scoring game. So I've got Duke 24, Illinois.
I think Duke is going to have to be. I mean, it sounds cliche here, but just be as mistake free and play as clean football as you possibly can. Minimize mistakes, be tight, be perfect, spread the ball around in the backfield, distribute well and a lot in order to wear down that front. We have four guys who are all capable of like being playmakers in the backfield. So why not utilize all of them? We have the receivers to get the job done, so there's no reason we can't spread the ball around and tire them out all over the field. It's definitely going to be our, like you guys are saying, our toughest matchup of the season outside of Clemson. Um, which is very little margin for error. I think Elon was probably a good wake-up call for Duke. Probably a really good, holy shit, like we need to tighten a few things up. We were not very good the first half.
And what's better for a get right game than Illinois?
Yeah, just to get a little get right game, just to get back on track, just a little, it's like playing a Northwestern, just get back on track. Uh I want to be optimistic and have Duke pulling this one out. But unfortunately, I'm part of the GA Scumbags, and all we do is be negative. So I'm gonna have it Illinois 31, Duke 17. Duke's MVP probably Cooper Barkate. That's my MVP of the game.
I do want to. The one last thing I want to touch on the game that you just brought up. It will be a very interesting clash of styles in the sense of, and it happens anytime you play a Big Ten team. Like they are fundamental, physical, just like play a straight up football game. Duke relies more on like havoc, speed. Like it'll be very interesting to see like which if Duke and Illinois got speed. That's not to say they're slow, but if you watched in Clemson, LSU, LSU finally realized they were just faster and started attacking Clemson, horizontally and just daring them to like catch up to them. If Duke can find a gap in that and attack it, there's a world where Duke comes out of this like successful. We're not saying Duke can't win. Like
100%.
I like no one. It's going to be a close ball game, but from what I saw, I just don't know that Duke is going to be able to stop Illinois enough on the ground to
Yeah.
where like. And no offense to our secondary, like we didn't talk. Our secondary didn't look the best. Sans Chandler Rivers, they didn't look bad, but like
We were a little
Elon,
slow.
Elon only threw the ball 17 times, and every time they threw it, they pretty much got what they wanted. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Duke can absolutely pull it out. I just think Illinois is just a better team.
Yeah. Should be a good game.
Yeah, show up, show out, come be
Please
Please
loud.
God
show up.
show up.
Come
Please
to the
come out.
tailgate. We'll be there early. I think
Seven
Garrett,
ish.
Garrett, myself, and Tyler will be there first. Eli, you said probably around 8 when you're gonna be there.
I checked with my girlfriend last night and I was like, we got to be there early. And she was like, I'm ready for it. And I
Okay,
said,
cool.
can
Yeah,
we be out the door by 6:45, 7? She's like, yep. So, hey, we should be there
great.
around 7:30. We're at the
Yeah,
latest.
so earliest we'll have somebody there is 6:30, 6:45. So start rolling in, come over. We'll
We'll
be
have
hanging out,
breakfast.
having a good time. We'll have college game day on, of course, on TV. Going to be cooking some food up, having some drinks, mimosas. I'll be bringing the cheap brute, so don't worry. And it's a great time. We want everybody to come. We had a couple people on Twitter reach out and like say, "Can we pull up?" So yeah, we just open invite. Nothing's expected. Just come
Lot
talk ball.
B3
Yeah,
near the hard hat guys, section 17, those folks in the mulch.
absolutely.
Uh, Good sign for the program, bad sign for me. I just discovered is there's no more Blue Zone parking passes left on the Duke website. So I'm gonna have to find someone to get a hold of one from. But yeah, that's I think that's a good sign if we're low on parking. That's a good sign for the program on the week before.
Mm.
So
A lot of Illinois fans.
Yeah, a lot of Illinois fans who love to tailgate. They're gonna have fun with us.
Oh yeah. There I will say Illinois fans like they travel pretty well, so Duke fans be expecting to probably see a decent crowd from their side of things. More than Northwestern was bringing down
Yeah.
100%.
Would you
Like
say
Less
it's
and
than like
close to
a
what like
Northwestern
Virginia
brought
Tech numbers?
less, but like it'll be more comparable to VT than Northwestern. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
leaning
yeah.
on that scale for sure. But should be a good time.
Yeah, I guess that about wraps it up.
That's it.
Anything else anybody wants to touch on before we hop off?
I'm
Just
good.
we got some big things coming out later this week after this
Yeah.
pod releases. So to all the poor souls that have made it this far, you guys will definitely be inclined to maybe set your notifications up on Wednesday, and got some big things coming out.
Yeah, keep an eye on our X/Twitter page. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time around.